Hello everyone. Now when an instrument pilot is instructed to hold, they will be given holding instructions by ATC. And that's our topic today. Welcome to the Epic Flight Academy. We want to talk about holding instructions. This is our instrument rating course. I am Mike Thompson, your host, and I want to remind you of 3 keys to success. Now, we are very glad you're here watching these videos. Please hit that subscribe button. But it's not just these videos alone. You must also be reviewing Epic's online instrument course and the content you find there. And thirdly, of course, you're going to want to review all of this in detail with your flight instructor. Now, what about these holding instructions? Well, if ATC tells you to hold, one of 2 things is going to happen. They will either have you hold as depicted on a chart, or they're going to give you specific holding instructions. Now, if that hold is not published on the chart, ATC will include the following in their instructions. Number 1, they will give you a cardinal direction of the holding procedure. North, south, east, northeast, southwest. Secondly, they will give you a fix to hold on. In the previous video, we talked about holding fix being any identifiable point in space. Thirdly, they will give you a radial, a course, or an airway the aircraft is to hold on. Then they will give you leg length if you're holding with DME or GPS. Now, in lieu of that, if there is no leg length, the inbound leg of a holding pattern will be 1 minute. They will then give you the direction of turn if that holding pattern has non-standard turns. Again, from a previous video, you recall that standard holding pattern turns are to the right. And then finally, ATC will give you an EFC time. That is an expect further clearance time. That will always be included just in case that during the course of this hold, there was a radio communications failure. Now, when you receive these instructions, as a pilot, you are required to read those back to ATC. So let's take a look at the slide here and practice with a couple of these. We have shown here the Ormond Beach Vortac. Now, I can tell it's a Vortac because it's 6-sided and 3 of those sides have that solid black box. And I know it's Ormond Beach because it's OMN. Here is a practice holding clearance. ATC instructs me to hold south on the 180 radial from the Ormond Vortac. Expect further clearance at 1830 Zulu. Those are my instructions. What do I do? Remember, the inbound leg to the fix is always to, never from, always to. And my first step in any hold will be to fly to that fix, whatever it is. In this case, it is the Ormond Vortac. So let's start by drawing a line south on the 180 radial. And you can see that here depicted in red. So I am going to be holding south on the 180 radial. Now, remember The hold starts at the fix and the turns will be to the right unless I was instructed to turn to the left, which we were not. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw in my right-hand turn and my outbound leg to the south, so I can then turn right again and fly my inbound course to the fix. So this is what it would look like. Holding south on the 180 radial from the Orman Vortex. I'm going to fly this holding pattern until my EFC time of 1830 Zulu, at which time I'll contact ATC, but it's very much more likely that prior to that 1830, ATC will have given me further instructions and clearances. If they don't, and I have determined that we have lost radio communications, then at 1830, I will initiate lost radio communications procedures, but that's another lesson. Let's take a look at our holding pattern. What would my inbound heading be? Remember, I'm holding on the 180 radial. My inbound heading would be 360, and my outbound leg on this holding pattern would be 180. All right, let's try another one. Here we are back at the Orman Vortex, and here are the instructions. Hold east on the 090 degree radial from the Orman Vortex. Expect further clearance at 1830 Zulu. So once again, I am going to draw my red line to the east of that vortex, and remember, my inbound course is to the vortex. Also in my clearance, ATC did not say turn left, so I'll turn right again. And what would my inbound heading or course be to the vortex? Remember, we're holding east on the 090, and the inbound path of my holding pattern is always to the vortex. That's correct. My inbound course would be 270. My outbound course would be 090. So let's take our third and final example. ATC says hold northeast on the 045 radial from the Orman Vortex, left turns, expect further clearance at 1830. Well, here's what it would look like. I'm going to draw my red line on the 045 degree radial, and my inbound course is going to be opposite of 045. So my inbound course would be, and if you said 225 degrees, you're correct. And now when I hit that vortex, take a look at the example. I'm not going to turn right because the instructions said to turn left. My outbound course will be 045. Well, folks, that just about wraps up our review of holding instructions. Now, be sure to review the holding instructions with your flight instructor, and then walk through these examples with your instructor and practice interpreting those holding instructions onto the actual chart so that you can visualize it in your head. Well, folks, that's about it for today. Join us next time.